Hey everybody. I just wanted to do a little update for you guys. So I'm currently in Salida taking a rest day. It's actually the end of the day. I'm heading back out on the trail tomorrow morning. But wanted to let you guys know kind of what's going on and how things been going. Um, so yesterday I hitchhiked into town and that went fantastic. I waited maybe eh, more than 15, but less than 30 minutes. And a guy from Minnesota who moved out here a couple years ago swung around and picked me up and drove me all the way into town, kind of out of his way. He was going to be turning off earlier, but he drove me all the way to Salida, right to the hotel that I was staying at. Um, so, Dan, if you ever do see this, thank you. That was awesome. And I'm glad that you're enjoying living out here. I know I did when I lived out here. So, got to town quite a bit earlier than I planned, and I couldn't check in until 4. So I kind of wandered around, went and got some lunch. There's a place down the street called 50 Burgers, Shakes, and Beer. If you guys ever get to Salida, or if it happens to be, it might be a franchise, I don't know. If you ever come across one, eat there. Fantastic burger. Got the burger with bacon, a fried egg on it, garlic mayo. It was delicious. Really good beer too. Really hit the spot. And the staff was super friendly. All the guys back in the kitchen sent the manager out to ask me what I was doing, what trail, how things were going, because I'm standing there with my pack on in the restaurant ordering. So it was a good experience. Very dog friendly town too. Every place I go, everyone brings their dogs in. They got water dishes set up outside for the dogs, spots for the dogs to go with little bags and everything. So really dog friendly community, which I've seen a lot of that out here. So then after I ate, I started heading back towards the hotel, and there's a brewery that's opened, Soul Craft. Again, if you guys are in town, stop there. I did a sampler flight, got a couple of pints of different ones that I really liked. Spent the whole afternoon there. They let me plug in my equipment to charge up the battery banks, and just great experience. Met a couple there that struck up a conversation. Dan and Tammy. Dan, I think, is from Lake City, Minnesota. So they met in Madison at a triathlon. So we had a lot to talk about being from the same area. They are RVing all over the place and are going to be going to Nepal to do some backpacking. So we got talking. They picked my brain a little bit. I shared my experiences, what worked, what didn't, kind of what I thought of the equipment I had, how I was doing things, what I would do different. Great experience talking with them. They bought me another beer, which was fantastic. So thank you if you guys see this. So yeah, and then my hotel was ready. Staying at the Boyle Duke. Good place. Well priced. A lot of amenities. They got laundry on site, free breakfast. It's a little bit older, dated place, but I would definitely stay here again. They've been doing a good job. And then today, I just kind of bummed around, rested up, went to Walmart, got resupplied. So I am heading back out tomorrow morning, back on the trail. So I won't be able to post videos for a while. The next section is going to be very remote, and it's a very long push. I'm going to, instead of trying to resupply into Durango, I'm going to push all the way through to Creed and maybe even Lake City. It's hard to say. Creed is 90 miles and Lake City is about 115. If I do 15 miles a day, we're looking at a week. Durango is about halfway, the Highway 114 that I would get off on, but it's almost a 40-mile stretch from the trail into Durango. and I don't know if I'm going to have cell service, and that's a really long ways to try and hitchhike. I certainly can't walk it. So I'm going to try and push through, which means long days. This is one of those really dry remote stretches too. So there's, 12, 13 miles between water. Some places it might be 20 miles between water sources. Just depends on if the seasonal stuff is dried up yet. So it's going to be a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also, a little anxious about it. This first stretch coming out of Salida is a 9-mile uphill stretch to go from just under 9,000 feet to over 12,000 feet elevation. So it's not super steep like some of the ones I've been doing where I'm gaining 1,000 feet in a mile, but this is 9 miles up. So it's a really long incline. And since I'm stocked up for a week's worth of food, I'm going to be at my heaviest with my pack that I've been at any point in the trail. So I'm glad that I took a full day of rest so I can hit it, regrouped and strong, because this initial push coming out of Salida, or at the trail back from Salida, it's going to be a grind, and my pack's going to weigh a lot, because I wanted to make sure I had enough food that if I got to Creed and I was feeling good, I could push that next 15 miles onto Lake City. That might be a little bit more of a challenging hitchhike too. I don't know what kind of cell service I'll have when I get to the highway, and it's a 17 miles from the trail into town. But depending on the day of the week that I get there, if there's a lot of traffic, like if it's a weekend, I think I might do all right. So for dinner tonight, I got a Domino's pizza down the street. I ate the whole thing, and I'm bringing the lid, the top of the box with me, so I can make a sign for hitchhiking, just to make sure that people understand what I'm doing on the side of the road. I found that hitching from the actual trail works a lot better than trying to walk down the road like Bruce Banner, trying to get a hitch along the way. Because if I'm at the trail, people know that I'm a hiker looking for a hitch and not just a hitchhiker. So I think that's where I've had success with the couple of times where I stayed at the trail, where I only had to wait 15 minutes for somebody to pick me up, versus that day I started walking and then I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and people are less likely to pick you up when they don't really understand why you're out there walking the road. And I think the sign will help too. So that's kind of where I'm at now. So like I said, big push coming, so don't be concerned if you don't have any new updates posted, because I know for a fact that I'm going to be out of cell service for several days at a stretch. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I've been feeling good, and I think that I can do this. I know that I can do this, and even if it takes me an extra day or two to get through that stretch, I'm certainly haven't been eating myself out of food, so I know I have kind of plenty. And if I go a little hungry, I can go a little hungry. I still got some reserves to spare, so to speak. So I'm gonna get a good night's sleep tonight and get up and enjoy the morning while I'm still in town. And I will post an update for you guys as soon as I can, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But take care and have a good night, and I will talk to you when I can.